Empty is the sky before the sun wakes up. Empty is the eyes of animals in cages. Empty faces of women mourning when everything's been taken from them. Me? Don't ask me about empty. And with that... oh boy. And with that, we descend into the depths. Looks like our buddy won't be riding with us. That's a shame. Gotta load at some of these, are those stretch textures or just... is that the look of it? I'm gonna say that's probably some texture error. That probably... knowing this game, texture errors all around here. This is actually the second to last level, I believe, even though it comprises, or will comprise most of this video, I suppose. Oh, and because the game knows how much we love it, here's our last chance to stock up on some electro gun ammo. Our most prized weapon, our most valuable tool. Well, we're gonna board this tram here in a second, but just because I don't want to ride that fucking elevator again, let's go ahead and quick save. And it starts off immediately. And those are the things from Half-Life. Those look exactly like that thing from the beginning of Half-Life. Oh, but this will not be a quiet ride. We do have some enemies to deal with here. And, of course, using the electro gun, Death Trap is literally just a death wish because you are surrounded by the railings on all sides of the tram, which means that the second you fire your gun, you're gonna kill yourself. So them leaving that there, basically just a fuck you. It's basically just a fuck you to the player. There's no other explanation for it, why they would give you that gun before putting you in that tram. Trolley? Tram? Trolley? I'm going to keep saying tram. I'm assuming that this is like a tram. That's a proper term for it. Feel free to correct me if I'm an idiot, but... I mean, we all know I'm an idiot, but... you know, on this one instance, I suppose. Okay, so I have played this section of level before. And I know the winning move here... it's not to play. It's just to crouch and, you'll see they have the same issue that we do, with this railing just being completely bulletproof, completely shielding us from bullets in the process. I didn't actually blow that up with my one shot, that was just a happy accident. It's just scripted to do that no matter what. It's scripted to explode at that point for reasons? But yes, our bullets cannot actually go through this gap, despite aiming directly between the gap. And, oh boy. Well, I suppose that's the end of this ride. That's as far as we're going to take this. God forbid boxes get in the way. And, here's actually probably a good time to go ahead and use that electric gun. Assuming they don't all kill themselves. Be careful not to hurt ourselves here. As useless as ever. We're down to 1 health here. Will I be able to make it out of this situation alive? Suppose time will tell, won't it? And I pulled it off. Miraculously. If I'm not mistaken, there should be some health back here. Well, no, apparently I'm just mistaken. That's great. Okay. Yeah, 1 health, that should be fine, right? You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna quick save anyway. And that is 2 birds with 1 stone, as they like to say. And this is something, alright. Oh, it's a distraction, is what it is. It's an excuse to get us standing still. Well played, game. For those of you who may be curious, by the way, when I say that I played this level before, when I opened up demonstrating a bit more knowledge than I should probably have for a blind playthrough, I've not seen the ending yet. I did not finish the game. I got up to the point where I figured the game would be ending, from like the little bits I know about the game, where I know it's going to be ending, but the ending will still be a surprise to me. And the rifle continuing to be the most powerful weapon in the game, bar none. We've only got so much ammo left for it, but this is close to the end of the game, so shouldn't matter so much at this point. I'd still rather not waste it with blind shots, but what can you do? Quick save it here. So this is some sort of reactor core, I guess. I mean, I think the name of the level is Reactor, so it's probably a good indication. As good as any. And suddenly the game real stingy on the health. Very plentiful with that electric gun ammo. Certainly came in use, didn't it? But no. No health. We'll be stuck wanting. That's apparently the end of that ammo. Down to our last 2 shots. And I guess they turned down the AI here, too. Oh, sweet. Mana from heaven. I guess they turned down the AI here, too, or something? Because these guys, they could have killed us. All the enemies leading up to this could have killed us, and somehow didn't. It's almost as if God himself wants me to finish this fucking LP already. Alright, so let's get on this elevator. And let's get some motion sickness while we're at it. Just keep spinning us around, why don't you? Nope, that's it apparently. So here's our last chance to be impressed by just the scenery, I guess. To ponder what the fuck these things are, how they're apparently suspended in midair. It's science. It's you wouldn't get it unless you're like an engineer or something. If there's an engineer watching, preferably a Russian one, and you know how this works, please tell us. Write in. Leave your comments. Yeah, and just go ahead and drop us off into the middle of bullet hell. This feels like a last room of the game, doesn't it? Sad to say, there is no final boss, as it were. No big baddie at the end. In fact, that's pretty much it. That's it. That was it. That's the end of it. So that's actually it. That's really seriously it. That's the end of proper gameplay. The end of combat. We can observe this thing. I don't know what it's reflecting right now, but it's certainly not here. It's certainly not this location here. Maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe that's some portal to another thing or whatever. You touch the sphere and it's something. Or maybe they just use the same reflection they use for every single reflective surface in the game and just boop, drop it right there. But no, we're meant to ride this. I'm just prologuing the inevitable at this point, aren't I? There's only one way to go from here. And with that, we ascend.
Когда правитель... Убедились в своем кандидате. Они... Победоносным оружием. Основополагающим принципом на материализме. Революционного обновления мира, опираясь на многочисленную, проверенную практикой систему, живет и развивается, отражая все новые процессы и явления, повороты в истории. Тот мир и прогресс народом всей земли. В этом неиссякающемся ликуют и торжествуют свою победу. Победу рабочего класса, победу труда, товарищи.
So, you kept up with that? You following along what happened here? You get the story? No? Well, that's a shame. Still gotta jump over these things. Oh, problems with geometry till the very end. Hey, you're empty. Alright, so this is actually the last elevator we have to ride. I spoke too soon.
I've been waiting for you, but I didn't think you'd show up so soon. I have to admit that you have fought hard. Now you know what happened to this world. You know what my great transformation has led to. Many might think that what happened means the dream has failed. But in fact, the goal has been reached. A new personality has appeared. A new man. One which is independent, self-sufficient, one capable of protecting himself. Fighting, surviving, and resisting. And all of that is you. This is delightful. My days are numbered, and you are the heir of it all, and you must rule everything. The future of the Great Transformation and the fate of this world are in your hands. Stay in this world, and lead new people forward. But you are free to choose a different path. You are the perfect part of mankind, and have the right to determine its fate. You can go back to the past and stop the birth of the Great Transformation. This will be your choice, and your decision. The control center is right before you. But you must know that there is only enough energy in this system for one impulse, and you will therefore not be able to change what you have decided. Space and time are in your hands. Make the decision.
And with those final words, we are left to make our decision. Which, actually, not much of a decision at all, because there is no alternate ending here. We have one choice, which is to sit on the chair and watch the final cutscene play. They pitch this guy over here pitches this as some sort of decision, some sort of choice we can make. And yet, there's none. Here, let's try getting on the elevator. Let's see if we can just go back down to rule over our people. And of course it won't go down. So really, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to sit in this really uncomfortable looking chair. I mean, fuck, they have to, like, duct tape it back together. I mean, they couldn't have sprung for, like, an office chair or something. Some, like, nice leather. And those straps, those don't look too inviting, to be honest. I mean, they're probably cold metal, probably really cold metal. It's probably gonna feel real weird on my bare skin. I don't know about this. Not really sure about this. And I'm just prolonging the inevitable again. Okay, fuck it. You guys want to watch the final cutscene? So do I. Here it is. Your moment of zen.
He's coming out again.
Все прогрессивное человечеством торжественно величайший праздник.
You are ahead of us.
Важно, чтобы мы не заговорили перед...
Нам еще надо хорошенько поработать и попотеть,
чтобы вас догнать.
And that's the end. That's the end. That's the end? I mean, I get it. I get it. That's pretty straightforward. The whole, I guess the sequence of events, all the clips from history are meant to imply that we fixed it. That we fixed history. That by going back and killing the brains of the whole operation, we fixed the space-time and made events unfold the way they have in our lovely reality. Wasn't so much of a... wasn't really the whole blow my fucking mind thing that it was pitched to me as. Not by a long shot, really. It's an interesting story, though, and that is the strength of this game. That's what I told you from the start, and that's what I've been saying all this time. That this game's strength are its cutscenes. Not so much the gameplay. And that's the criticism I would hold against the game, that the gameplay just isn't great. You have really unsatisfying weapons, repetitive enemy types, repetitive level design, slow movement. God, that's slow movement. But the atmosphere, generally speaking, the cutscenes, for sure, are, well, there's a nice little... Gotta squeeze one last frame of gameplay in there, didn't they? So we're gonna hold on this screen for a bit while I give my final opinions, final thoughts on the game. That yes, the gameplay needed much need of improvements. Simple things would have gone a long way, adding a sprint button, or even just having you move faster in general. Weapons that were satisfying to shoot, or at the very least did a bit more damage. These are things that can be modified in, as I've had people in the thread tell me, that the scripting is Lua, which apparently means it's very customizable, that these things are achievable. And we'll take a look at some gameplay with those modifications in place and see if it does do anything to improve the game. But other than that, I mean, we're still left with a game that is an homage to classic style of games, classic first-person shooters. It feels a lot like Doom. It feels a lot like your Wolfenstein 3D, even. Maybe not so much Wolf. Maybe more Quake. That's what I meant to say. You have, like, the classic weapon hierarchy, starting with a pistol, then working your way up to some impossible contraption that can never possibly really work in the real world, you know. In Doom, it's your BFG, and here it's that awful electric gun. God. But, I mean, does that style of gameplay really hold up? And the answer is yes. The answer is obviously yes. That other games have done that style of homage and have done it so much better. Just so much better than this. This game was an excuse to tell a story. A sound story, mind you. Like, if you analyze it as a story, it's an interesting one. It's an alternate reality, alternate history, heavily rooted in Soviet Russia. And that's interesting. If we were to strip all the cutscenes out of the game, or, you know, maybe make cutscenes in place of gameplay, this is the comparison I like to make with games, with game stories. If you were to take this story out of the game and make it a feature film, let's say, a feature-length film, give it a budget, and just put it on the screen, would it work? And I would say yes, this story would work. This story would absolutely work. I'd love to watch this as a movie, but as a game, it's... It's nigh unplayable. Not the worst game I've ever played. Let's get that. Let's make that distinction right now. Not the worst game by far. In fact, it's better than most of the shit I've LP'd so far. It's better than Legendary. That's a fucking piece of shit right there. But, yes, to summate. Gameplay, big fat goose egg. But the story... is interesting. The story, I applaud it for its story. Even if the ending was a little lackluster, not what it was hyped to be for me at the very least. But yeah, overall, not a recommendation. I wouldn't recommend tracking this down and playing it yourself, sad to say. I mean, this is what Let's Plays exist for, isn't it? You know, I'm just realizing I probably should have clicked the credits at this point. Just have something going on in the background. I mean, this is really what Let's Plays are all about, is showing off a game that you probably shouldn't play yourself, but which, hey, it's interesting to look at. Speaking of interesting, it's interesting how the credits are sort of skewed to the right here, not exactly centered, as if they zoomed in on the clip and it didn't scale properly to fit the aspect ratio or what have you. And that music, too, I forgot to mention, this music is just... It's interesting decisions on their part. So yes, don't play this game. Just don't. It's no need. I just played it for you. I really got that ending though. Like that ending was hyped to me, and in fact, there are certain things about the ending that I'm gonna have to talk to the person who originally told me about this game, and I'm gonna ask him a few questions about it. Look at some of these nicknames these people have. Shmigun! Alexander Shmigun Schmigun. Oh, you crazy Ruskies. That's a short credit scroll, too. So, you know, maybe not that many people worked on this. I mean, enough people worked on it. Enough people worked on it that it should be better than it is. That someone down the line of development should have said, hey, guys, maybe want to put that sprint button in there? And then the rest of the team obviously had to have said, no, you fool. What the fuck does the title mean, by the way? That's the real question here. Why is the game called You Are Empty? That's the question that reviewers asked. And that ending didn't really do much to really clarify that. It's not a line of dialogue that came up in the game or anything. It's just sort of just a title for the sake of a title. Maybe it was like a band name, like if they're tossing around band names. You know how people like to toss around band names. We should call ourselves the You Are Empties. No, I got a better idea for that title. Let's make it the name of our game. And so with that, I have been Haberman. Thank you for putting up with this game for as long as I did. I am now officially empty. Except I'm not completely empty just yet. So I followed up with my friend like I said I would, and asked them what part of the ending was the part that was supposed to, quote, make me lose my fucking shit. Because I didn't. And as it turns out, there's a very good reason why I didn't. And that is because I watched a different ending. No, that doesn't mean that there's alternate endings to the game. That does not mean I was wrong when we were in that chamber room. There is only one ending to the game. Except, there's an alternate version of it. Remember that You Are Empty was first released in Russia on October 27th of 2006. It took them a year to release it in North America. And over the course of that year, a change was made to the game. One very key, very important change that needed to be made in order to make sure that the game would ever see an American release. Apparently. And that change was to the ending, which, for this English version that we have just Let's Played, that I own as part of the Indie Gala bundle, is the censored version. So, without further ado, the moment we've all been waiting for, the true ending to You Are Empty.
He's coming out again.
Все прогрессивное человечество торжественно величайший праздник.
You are ahead of us.
Важно, чтобы мы не заговорили перестройку.
Нам еще надо хорошенько поработать и попотеть, чтобы вас догнать.
Wait, what? 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 No! You fuckers! You fuckers! What? God damn it! I'm not laughing at 9/11. I'm not fucking laughing at 9/11. I'm laughing at the fact they put fucking 9/11 in the game. What? Why that? Why? Why that? Why did that need to be there? I guess it did. I guess it didn't because I took it out. But still, really? Really, motherfuckers? Really? Like, holy shit. Why would they do that? Why the fuck would they do that? What were they thinking? Who thought that was a good idea? Why did anyone think that was a good idea? Like, I get it. They're not saying, like, fuck America or anything with that. They're just... It's supposed to be just history. It's just supposed to be history. It's just supposed to be, like... It's not supposed to be offensive, I don't think. God, I hope not. But, fuck, man. I don't know. Games are art, I guess. Your empty's the proof. I guess I lost my shit then, didn't I?